All right, hey, what's going on, guys? So I'm back over here at the shop. I'm gonna work on the Omni for a little bit. Got the carburetor refreshed earlier. Gonna get the base plate on the intake manifold cleaned up. There's a gasket underneath the base plate adapter, or the adapter plate that the carburetor bolts to. So I'm gonna pull that off, clean it. I'm gonna get some new vacuum caps on that with the new gaskets, and then I will get it put back on, and I might go ahead and get this carburetor thrown back on, and we'll see how long that takes. I might have to take off here soon, so that might be all we get done today, but any progress is good progress. So here we go. I'm going to turn this camera around. All right, so that square rectangle thing with holes in it, it's the adapter plate. There's 4 bolts, 2 on each side. I'm going to take that off, clean it. I got to put a vacuum cap on that there. I put one on there, but I don't like how it fits, so I'll probably find a different one. But we're going to pop that off, clean it up, and then the carburetor sits on there. So once the carburetor's back on, I can get all these little vacuum lines and stuff hooked back up, and then I can get the fuel lines hooked up, which is the ones coming from the fuel tank, and then we'll come down or come over with some rubber hoses to some metal pipes that hook up to the fuel pump, so we can get the go-go juice to the fuel make happener carbon maker 5000. Good old little Holly 2-barrel, carburetor life. Anyways, let's get that taken off and cleaned up. Oh, but real quick, I'm going to tighten up this, I'm going to get that fuel pump tightened up that I did the other day. And make sure it's snugged on really good. Now that gasket maker's had a good chance to dry, it should provide a very good seal. Okay. Go ahead and get this base plate adapter thing, whatever you want to call it, off of here. And get this all cleaned up with the new gasket. Decided I want a shorter extension don't need that big long one, so switch over to this guy. Go ahead and get these bolts out. Get these bolts out here, and this should come right off. Of course, it's raining today, so probably making the audio a little bit fuzzy or noisy sounding. Okay. So this step throttle cable is attached to it. I'll be able to scrape this with it just in my hand here. But we'll get this old gasket popped off and do a little gasket scraping here. And oh, there's that came flying right off. Now, this thing's nice and hard. Has a part number on it, so I feel like it's probably original. Which, from 79, that's pretty old for a gasket. So I'm just trying to get any of these larger chunks of the old gasket off. It doesn't have to be perfect. I could get a little polishing wheel and knock that all down, polish it off, but I don't think it needs to be that extreme. One thing I am going to do is I'm going to get my grinder real quick. I'm going to grind the end of this bolt off flush with the nut, because that was jammed up into this port here on the this adapter plate, and it was not allowing me to slide a vacuum cap on there. So I'm going to get that grinder and buzz that off, and I'm going to grab a different scraper, because that one wasn't scraping very nice, to clean up that base, to clean up that plate. So I'll bring it back when I get that stuff ready here in a minute. All right, got stuff set up, ready to go. Go ahead and buzz this bolt down a little bit. Make some sparks and noise. Here we go. It's a little bit noise. Actually, this handle's in my way. Gonna make it more dangerous. Okay. Probably unnecessary, but I want to be able to change that vacuum cap without having to unbolt all of that if I ever need to in the future. Now I probably can. We'll find out here in a minute. I got my vacuum cap assortment here. These are the vinyl ones, or whatever they're called. I think they call them vinyl. We got this here. We'll put one here. That's the one I couldn't change before. And then this one was missing when I took all this apart, so I'm kind of thinking that might have been a bigger reason why the car wouldn't run, other than it having a dirty carburetor, which didn't really have a dirty carburetor, as you could see in that video. So we got our new gasket here. We got the petroleum jelly, Vaseline, whatever you want to call it. And go ahead, and what I like to do is just coat this fiber gasket board here to help it not stick. So if I need to take this apart, I might be able to save this gasket and not have to replace it. So I like to just rub it into the gasket material here. Kind of an old school trick I've been showed by a couple of the old timer car guys that have been around for a lot longer than I've even been alive. Try to bring all their little tricks of the trade with me as I progress through my life. So unfortunately, as time continues on, more and more of them are no longer with us. So that's just the way it goes. It's unfortunate, but put a little bit more here. So this will help it not stick, and it'll also help it seal better. I mean, it's already going to seal as good as it needs to, but this just is just one little extra step. So this guy, holes are the same size, so we don't need to worry about that. I'll just set that down there and get a couple of the bolts here, and we'll set this plate back down and start threading it down. And it appears that grinding that stud down a little bit gave me just enough room. I'll be able to slip a vacuum cap on and off of there in the future instead of it being pinched on that bolt. It's kind of crazy because that's the way it was from the factory, and somebody had already changed that vacuum cap, probably the last time the carburetor got cleaned or refreshed. I think this has had a head gasket done just before it hit 100,000 miles. From what I read on comments from the previous owner that had been commenting on the for sale post of this car, they had been reminiscing about different things that went on during the time of their ownership. So, but I don't have any paperwork, or I haven't talked to them directly, so not gonna for sure say that this has all been apart before, but I know that gasket I just took out of there, it seemed to be original. So if this has been taken apart, either they put an original Chrysler gasket back in there, or they reused it, which that's a gasket that's not unreasonable to reuse. So carburetor base gaskets are easy to reuse. I don't know what just happened. Oh no. Oh, that just broke. Wow. I wasn't even... That's not good. Well, that just put a huge hurdle in the progress of this car. That's crazy. This good old pot metal aluminum stuff, I'll tell you what. I can't believe that. Oh man. Yeah, see, it just popped the ear off of that. That sucks. Well, guess that's gonna cut the time short today working on this, because now I gotta either find a new one of these, or I gotta find somebody who can weld aluminum, which this is really dirty, and I know it's got to be clean to be welded. So I got to figure something out now. Maybe I can find one on eBay. And when that caught my wrist on something there sharp. Well, that's a bummer. Well, these are the kind of things that happen when you're working on old cars. That's why it's kind of important. We got to go slow and be careful. I might not have been being careful enough with that, but I don't know how many other times it's been worked on if somebody else has had that off and they've cranked it down tight. And it might have been stress cracked, I don't know. So now I need this whole piece. This is some really lightweight pot metal. I don't even know if it's aluminum. It might be die cast. Oh, what a bummer. All right. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't even look... The color doesn't look the same on the video, but it's got this like purplish look to it. So I don't know if that's like a cast aluminum or what. So that really sucks, guys. At least I don't have to rely on this car right now. This is part of why I'm going through everything so thoroughly, though. I want to make sure everything's taken care of. It's all been gone through and it's ready to go. So if I do start, or I start driving this car every day, if I decide to use it as a daily driver or to take it somewhere, that I know that everything is good to go. So that's a bummer. That was probably my fault. I probably was getting a little carried away snugging it down. I didn't feel like I was putting that much pressure on it, so that was kind of crazy. I always like to try to make sure we got carburetor bases, or especially stuff like that, snug down real good, because I've experienced it multiple times where people were having carburetor problems and they couldn't figure it out, and me and a couple buddies, we'd jump in and try to help them figure it out, and next thing we know, we figure out that those bolts were just loose enough, or they weren't tight enough that it was had an air leak there and causing carburation problems. So I always try to make sure that stuff's snug down good so it doesn't vibrate loose and I don't have a vacuum leak causing drivability issues. So that kind of sucks that I really didn't tighten that down that much. Oh man. Well, I will be on the hunt for a new one of these now, because I don't even know if that's even, doesn't appear to. Oh, you know what, I don't know if you're gonna be able to, you probably won't be able to see it on the camera, but if it would focus, I don't know if this front camera is gonna focus. Here, let me turn this around. Excuse me there. My sinuses are bugging me. Trying to get it to focus. Can't really see it. This camera is not, keeps focusing on other things. Right there, just at the top edge of where that's textured, there's actually some grease down embedded into that aluminum or whatever this is. So either it's a casting flaw or it was already cracked, and me snugging it down good, it just made it pop the rest of the way off of there. So I don't know if it was a casting flaw or if it was already partially cracked, but either way, it's a problem now for sure, and it probably could have been a problem, in the future. So I'm gonna call it quits for today on that. With that note, that sucks. That's a bummer. But there's other things I'm gonna get into. Like, I'm looking at the thermostat housing here on this thing. It has got corrosion coming through it. It's crusty looking. These are the original hoses, which is just insane. There's some other, like a heater hose connection down on the radiator down there where the lower hose goes on and stuff. There's like coolant leak in there. So I'll be at least replacing hoses, and there's even a hose right here. This engine in here is weird. And somebody's already, you got the original hose clamp right here, the old wire Chrysler one, and they moved it down and put a regular modern style one on there, and it was probably leaking. They probably did that to get it to stop leaking, because it probably needs a new hose. So I will be having to tear all that apart. Hopefully I can find hoses, but we'll get that cooling system broke down, replace thermostat, hoses, coolant, all that stuff. Hopefully the radiator's good. It looks like it's in good shape, but really don't know until you get the car going. So that was kind of my goal, is to get the car running and driving, go put some miles on it, run it for a while, get it really nice and hot, make sure that the cooling system is working, and then that way I know if the radiator's clogged up or anything like that, and I can tear, once I know that, I can tear this all down, get all new hoses, a new thermostat, get all this stuff cleaned up so it's not going to leak, and I don't have to worry about any hoses exploding. Again, so this will be reliable, because I want to be able to drive it places. I want to take it to different cruise-ins and or car shows, and I'm not going to trailer this. This would be silly to trailer this car. It's little, it's got a 4-cylinder, it's going to be probably decent to ride in, drive down the road. I'm guessing it's not going to be the most luxurious riding thing, but it's probably not terrible, and it's not going to use a lot of gas to get there, so it's definitely going to be gutless. We know that for sure. The 1.7 liter Volkswagen engine with a 2-barrel carburetor, definitely going to be gutless. but I get the job done and get the car where it needs to go. So I just want this to be reliable so we can go out and enjoy it and get it out there to the shows and people can see it, and we'll see how people react and stuff. And I'll probably determine if I want to get more involved in restoring or fixing up the car. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I said it in a previous video that, you know, depending on how things go, I might actually go through with doing some body work and paint on this car and make it really nice. But if not, I just want to get it cleaned up really good, and so it, you know, it's just a nice cruiser, daily driver kind of thing. And if I decide to let it go, I'm going to try really hard to get it into somebody's car collection or some sort of museum situation, so it can continue to be preserved, because this one is a little bit more unique than most of them. So that's why I'm going to put effort into finding different pieces of trim and stuff that have been misplaced or broken, like the rear bumpers that have bend in it. I'd like to find another bumper for it, but these cars are pretty hard to find in the salvage yards or anywhere. So anyways, that'll do it for now. I'm gonna get on eBay and stuff and see if I can find one of those carburetor base plates and get that coming, because that'll probably be a week or longer if I can't find one right away. So it's a bummer. I really wanted to get this thing out of here so I can I got to do some other stuff on one of my trucks, but at least I guess I can bleed the brakes and put the wheels and tires on it and push it outside. So that might be what happens next. So we'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.